All right, what's good? It's your boy Strom. We're gonna do another Crusader coffee talk. This time we have a Red Bull. That's okay, it has caffeine. Now, what I want to talk about today is my life over the last couple of years and how it propelled me to make the decisions that I make today, and how it culminated in me coming to Africa. Now, at my work, hey, I was making a lot of money. I was making money from the military too, so two different sources of income. You know, had a 401k, had health insurance, had all the stuff, great benefits. The problem was that I was working with people that were from over 28 different countries, and I was within the 2 to 3% of people that were white Americans. Now, people be like, oh, well, get over it. Get over it. I like Mexicans. I go to the taco shop on the corner and I buy tacos. Okay, great. Me too. But do you work with them 40 plus hours a week? You spend all your time and energy with those people from an entirely different culture, don't even speak English. And that is the Central South American people. 28 different countries, so we're talking about Thailand, Cambodia, Sudan, Rwanda, Somalia, you know, Afghanistan. I mean, so India, okay? So many different people from across the world. That is a very complex and challenging environment to work in. So it takes a lot of energy out of me dealing with 28 different countries with various cultures and beliefs and language capabilities. Now, you know, people tell me, get over it, okay? Just deal with it. My old boss, I brought this up to him, how there's this discrimination against white people, not hiring on white people, specifically like, you know, engineer roles, I mean, all the roles, okay? Because the staffing agencies specifically hired their boys and their girls, which were Venezuelan migrants to America, Mexicans, whatever. And then you had, you know, Africans and all of them, they're coming, you know, they weren't exactly first picks. So being in that environment, you know, I told my boss, I feel isolated, I feel alone, I'm depressed because I want to be around Americans. I want to be around specifically white Americans because I'm a white American. May not look like it, but that's who I am, that's my culture. I'm an American combat veteran, Green Beret and Army Ranger. 2 to 3% of people in the military make it into those units. I made it into both units. Very, very prestigious. And I went to combat with them. I did all kinds of shit with them, serving my country. But when I'm in my own country back in America, I am made to feel like a foreigner. And people tell me to get over it. My boss, he also, after I brought this up numerous times, he admitted to me that, you know, he doesn't like it either, but hey, that's what's going on. And there's this idea of a colorblind meritocracy where, you know, you get over it, find the common shared beliefs and values. We all believe in freedom. You know, they're migrants, they're escaping persecution, they want freedom just like you. You're an American, you want freedom. Yeah, I want freedom, but you know, my freedom was taken from me by the US government during COVID, where I had to literally fight for over 5 years to get my freedom, to get my retirement, which is still in question. $10,000, you know, I mean, everything. So let's go through the routine here of what my life was like. Wake up 5 a.m., go to the gym, I lift, work out very hard. After the workout, I go to church. Typically, I would even skip a breakfast because I was always too involved with the lifting, having a good time. High energy expenditure during that. Go to church 8 a.m. pretty much daily. Fridays, I lecture, which means I read from the pulpit on Fridays at Mass. From Mass, I go directly into work. Now, I work, you know, let's just say 9 to 5. A lot of energy is put into work dealing with 28 different cultures. You know, you're working with all these people, and during lunchtime, you go sit by yourself or you go into your car in the parking lot You pray the rosary, you fall asleep because you're exhausted. You know, you're praying to God for something, for help, for hope, for the strength just to keep going at this job because I need money to pay off various debts that were incurred because I fell into sin, because I'm so depressed, because I'm isolated, I'm alone, I feel like a foreigner in my own country, and no one gives a shit. They tell me to work harder, okay? So finish up the work, you know, and then depending on the day, I get involved in some sort of church activity, whether it's like a young adult Catholic group, you know, you play volleyball, you do a prayer group, you do whatever, okay? Now, this, you know, I'm in the pursuit of finding a wife because I need a wife to support me emotionally, you know, physically, all the things that a couple, all the benefits of having a couple, being in a relationship. This is unattainable. I'm not into Latinas. I'm working with 700 plus Latinas. I'm not into Latinas, and I'm especially not into Venezuelan migrants. You think I want to spend the rest of my life going to the Christmas party where everyone speaks Spanish and I sit by myself because I'm just tired of it? That happened during our second work party, where a lot of people did not go to the second work party, the Christmas party, because they don't feel comfortable, because it's nothing but Venezuelans who know each other from back in their country, their neighbors, their co-workers, their friends, their family. So they get along, they speak Spanish. I go to the Christmas party, I sit at a fucking table by myself. They're blasting salsa music, you know, all this shit, everyone's speaking Spanish. And it's just like, I wanna like just relax, I wanna chill. I don't wanna have to worry about integrating into some foreign culture. So that was very depressing. Christmas party. Last one I went to, raffling off all kinds of prizes and shit. The material things, these are inconsequential to me. Now, with the whole Dakar Destiny shit, I mean, I'm already out of money. I'm out of money when I go back to America. You know, I'll do the homeless veteran thing. I'll document that. That'll be great content for all the people that are watching. They can get off on that, me being homeless, and then tell me what a great adventure that is. If you've ever been homeless, it's not a good, okay? Especially when you're a veteran. I mean, it's 10 times worse. Veterans, statistically on average, they're more likely to commit suicide, all kinds of shit, drug abuse, you know, you name it. And so, yeah, you know, after about 3+ years of working in this environment, and, you know, I'm trying to find the wife, yes, but it starts out with having a relationship. And so I invested all my time into the Christian community because I love my Christian faith. And I want to be in a relationship with a Christian woman. Now, when I talk to the Christian women, you know what I get? I get absolute hate from them. Blocked, banned, censored by numerous women simply for following them on, you know, social media, trying to work with them to set up organizations that will benefit the community and start the process of working towards building a professional network of Catholics in the Salt Lake City Valley who are able to affect change in the culture, in society. Now, why do we need change in society? Look around. Look around at society. Look at all the homeless people. Look at people stealing holy relics from the Cathedral of the Madeleine and no one cares. Look at homeless people doing drugs, hard drugs in the bathroom of the church. No one cares, and there's kids running around, they're leaving bags of fentanyl in the bathroom. The lives of the children are at stake. People don't care. I wrote a letter to the bishop, the head guy in charge in Utah. I told him all these problems. Finally then, the ball got rolling, okay? In terms of, okay, let's take a look at the security. Thankfully, I had some good friends that, you know, they had a lot of evidence to back up the claims that I was making, because it's important to have friends. It's important to have a network of people. This is what I was trying to build, looking at the Catholic women, you know, talking to Catholic women. some are friends, some are like, maybe, hey, something could develop. That's what I was working on. And it's not easy to do because those events come at the end of the day when I'm exhausted, having been up at 5 a.m., gym, church, work, whatever after work, go immediately to an event. And then I'm trying to integrate, I'm trying to talk, I'm trying to be in the American culture, the Catholic culture of Salt Lake City, Utah, which is unique in itself. And you're not at your cognitive best. It's not as easy to be charming and charismatic because you've spent all day doing that. You're socially exhausted. So, I don't know, maybe I come off rough, maybe I come off, too forward, too whatever. That doesn't warrant women block banning and censoring me, talking shit on me. Claire, when I did the arts exhibit, she went around telling people I was harassing her for trying to encourage her to join the arts exhibit. I mean, she's a very nasty woman. But, and I'll talk about this in Descartes Destiny, that's not a reason to hate her, okay? This entire Descartes Destiny is about, reconciliation. It's about showing so much love in the face of impossible odds, in the face of extreme hate, because that is the essence of being a Christian. And so maybe people just don't understand that, they don't get that, okay? So there was that aspect. Another aspect that I totally skipped over was the persecution that I was facing from the US government. Now I alluded to that, how they took $10,000, they took my retirement, they did a lot of very nasty things to me which caused me severe depression, anxiety. I'm dealing this at work, simultaneously with the work that I'm doing, plus the extracurricular activities of doing things in the Christian community, whether it's giving talks, writing essays, doing these fundraiser events, trying to set up events like the Sikh evangelization contest that I ran. I put up $600 of my own money to offer a ticket to someone to go. The caveat was they had to enter this contest where they make a video or they write an essay on evangelization and how they do that within their community. I mean, I even some of these diversity and equity events, I essentially hijacked them. I led them. I brought on Catholics. You can ask Annabelle Bigiani about this. I brought her on. I paid her a couple $100 to talk about her life as a woman and also how her Christian faith is integral to her life. She got to talk about that in front of like 150, 200 people at work, and she's Venezuelan, which makes it relatable to the people that she was talking to, which was a primarily foreign audience. That's evangelization at work. I'm doing that solo. I'm coming up with these events solo. I'm pushing for it. I'm coming up with a plan. I'm pushing into the community, trying to find someone that wants to help out, someone that wants to answer this call to mission, evangelization. Just get out there. You're going to make money. You're going to make money talking about your Christian faith, evangelizing to people from your own country. She was the only one that was interested. No one entered the Sikh contest, by the way. So those are the odds. And, people of the older generation, they just think like, just deal with it. Just deal with it. The odds that I'm up against, these are unique, but there's commonalities with a lot of young people. The company hiring foreign nationals, this directly disadvantages young Americans. Young American engineers graduating from college or whatever, they should be working at this very prestigious company, this Fortune 500 company. Instead, I don't know what they're doing. It is people from Venezuela who don't even speak English, who are working as engineers, writing technical instructions for assembly of IT products in English when they don't even speak English. Okay? And they're getting paid a decent amount of money. They're underpaid because they are migrants. And they'll work because their visa is contingent upon being employed in most cases. And so so many opportunities are being lost on Americans. For me, I had no hope at that job. The hope ran out. I became politically disenfranchised because of the alliances that were built between the Spanish-speaking people, the people that collated together because they're all from Venezuela, Brazil, India. I'm an outsider, okay? Plus, I'm depressed. I don't have any backing. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a family. I don't have people that care or understand the type of environment that I am working in. So all the money that I was making at that company, that Fortune 500 company, they're making billions of dollars. I'm getting a lot of money, making money from the military. I was broke. I was literally broke because I was in sin, just trying to cope with the stress of being persistently alone, having no hope, no possibility of having a future in terms of a family that is centered around the Christian beliefs and the Christian values. And that is a white woman, because I'm attracted to white women. Sorry, I'm attracted to all women, but hey, my preference is for white women, white European women. Is that a crime to be attracted to those types of women? For a lot of people, they think so. So yeah, that's the situation. And with the coping stuff, it's just like, my old boss, it's like, he watches these political shows, he's concerned about Trump and all this shit. He's concerned about fucking whatever, he harbors these sentiments about the liberals, how, and then there's a movie, the Civil War, how there's a civil war in America, and people are just getting gunned down, there's mass graves, and he's just like, yeah, like, you think there's gonna be a civil war, and like the liberals and all this, and it's like, they're gonna have to go in mass graves like the movie. It's like, you're deluded, dude. People who talk like that, they're deluded because they're coping due to the fact that they're not engaged politically or civically. And they see all of the things that are happening in the country. That's why they flee California. That's why they flee all these places. They move to a conservative state because they don't want to deal with the migrants. They don't want to see their cities turn into shit, literally. People pooping on the side of the road, crime, it's just complete law and order, just gone chaos. So they move from California to Utah, to Texas, to wherever, to avoid having to deal with those problems up front. And then they just cope by buying, expensive Jeeps and all this shit, buying houses, buying all this shit to set themselves up for their retirement, where they can just go away, they can isolate themselves from the world, while young people like me, I'm a pretty conservative guy, young conservative men like me are persecuted, harassed, politically disenfranchised. We have no future unless we literally just throw ourselves into the fire, just give up everything, risk everything, in the slim chance that you can make something work. Okay? So that's what I was up against. That's the environment. That's the environment I was working in. Being politically and culturally disenfranchised, isolated, feeling like a foreigner in my own country, not even being able to speak English at my work, being persecuted by the U.S. military, specifically the military, being persecuted for that, facing severe consequences, essentially becoming a felon, having to fight that. We're working out, we're doing church, mass, plus all the extracurricular faith-based group things, and then trying to find a wife to literally help me out. If I had a wife, if I had just even a girlfriend that was a Christian, that was caring, was empathetic, was understanding, supporting, supports me so that I can support her. I probably would have bought a house with my VA benefits. We'd be living in a house, paying fucking low interest rates, starting a family, okay? Raking in the money off of VA disability and all this shit. Really building a future. You think I'm just some fucking idiot who doesn't have any opportunity, doesn't have a future? I got plenty of military benefits, I got plenty of opportunities, okay? But the problem is I have no desire to even live because I'm not living in Venezuela, in my own country, okay? I'm not going on a fucking dating app and relying on some algorithm designed by some fucking godless liberal in Silicon Valley to hook me up. Just like the chick from Denver who she's like the vice president of the Young Catholic Professionals, goes on a dating app, dates some fucking random Protestant guy. I mean, politically speaking here, it's not a good look when you go on a fucking dating app and then just date some random Protestant. He doesn't even believe in Christian love in the way that Catholics believe it. Understand, this is important. People think this shit doesn't matter. Having the same concept, the same foundational understanding of these core concepts of the Catholic faith is important. This is not just some fucking random whatever. People treat their Catholic faith like it's just some fucking throwaway thing. They just use it when it suits them and their needs and all that. And if it doesn't suit them, if it puts them at some sort of, I don't even know, if it puts them at some sort of discomfort, well then they can just trash the Eucharist, right? They can just throw that shit in the garbage. We'll not worry about that. Just like the homosexuals that go to Catholic Church, you know, there are gay men who are married, okay? They're married, they're in a sodomitic relationship. They go to Mass, they receive the Eucharist. It's fine. That's a sin. That's a grievous sin. And if the priests know about that, then they're giving up the Catholic faith which they serve. I hate to break it to you, okay? I hate to take off the rose-colored glasses, but that kind of a mentality towards sin, that compromise on core Christian beliefs, core Catholic teaching and dogma, okay? That is a grievous fault. And it is the reason why holy relics get stolen out of the cathedral. It's the reason for all of the shit that's happening across the world is because Catholics, they don't care about their Christian faith, especially when it gets hard, okay? And this is, I'm not targeting you, the viewer. Hopefully you're hardcore, okay? But that is the reality of the situation. And these are all the things that I am up against along with all of you guys. And so it's a call for holy war. The holy war is on virtues and values, strengthening those things, actually believing in those things and implementing them into reality, which is far more difficult than a lot of people realize. Because, who knows, from what I've seen, it's mostly people working within already a established community. They're not going on mission the way that I'm going on mission to Africa in order to, get the creativity, the flexibility to speak openly, to not be in a toxic environment where Christians are attacking me, okay? And there were a number of Christians that were attacking me. And by attacking, there's passive and there's aggressive attacks where, refusing to help, shutting down communication, not even saying hi, being disrespectful. These are passive attacks. And that takes a toll on a person. That takes a toll on a person that saps their energy, which then cannot be used towards missionary projects. Because when you go out into the world that is not, my clique, my specific clique of buddies at the parish, things become exponentially more challenging because you have to be creative about things. I'm in Africa and I'm not going around preaching on the street corner like the Muslims, but I'm doing something that's asymmetric, that is unconventional. It's taking a lot of energy to do it. There's a big risk of failure that I'm facing right now. And, if it doesn't work out the way that I planned, you know, I got to recover from this. Because if it doesn't work out, people, they're not going to give a shit. There's going to be no victory for them to celebrate. So what's going to end up happening? They're going to shit on me. They're going to attack me for trying to spread the gospel and preach the good news, just as they always have been over the last, you know, 5 years. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff. But yeah, this is real intellectual Catholicism. This is, you know, Christian missionary action that is just fucking out there. It is out there. You know, I did not want to do this alone, and I'm not doing it alone. I have some support, but it's definitely not, you know, it's not the support that would make this shit easy. And the consequences for it not coming through all the way, despite all of my best efforts in trying to juggle these different projects left and right and center, and then also trying to figure out, you know, when I move back to America, how am I going to even fucking live? Because there's no job, there's no opportunity, there's no house. You know, I'm gonna have to be homeless for a bit. That's a lot of pressure. That is a lot of pressure, and you know, it's just ridiculous. But I just have to do it because there's no future, there's no hope. There's no hope in America for a guy like me, because I've been doing everything possible in the last 5 years to get these things rolling, and it never happened. It actually got much worse. So that's your Crusader coffee talk. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully that gives you insight into, you know, the odds that I was up against. How all of these environmental factors in America, they pushed me outside. I did not have any hope. I just did not, it didn't work because I was sold out by my country, by everyone. And not to be a sad story, but just what it is. So that's why we're going all in on this shit. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share this video. It is very unique, and you're not going to hear this kind of commentary literally anywhere. No one's going to be talking about this because the people that are in this situation, they probably killed themselves. Straight up facts, bro. Peace.